Hey guys, this is Jake from State Fun. As you can see, I bought a skid steer. So this here is a New Holland LX865 turbo. They were made between, I think, 94 and 99, so it's sometime in that year range. It's either got a Ford, a Perkins, or a New Holland engine, from what I understand. Based on that oil filler cap, I believe it's probably a Ford. It does have the third function valve with the auxiliary hydraulic system, so I can add on a grapple in the future. And some of the things that I would like to do with it is some land clearing, obviously. Been testing it out a little bit, and y'all will see that here in a minute. Skid steer is pretty much an all-around utility piece, so I can get multiple different attachments. I know some of the ones that I'd like to get for land clearing specifically. Bucket with teeth, probably a stump bucket at some point so that I can have that nice sharp point, dig up, saw through the roots. A grapple so that I can move fallen trees, and especially all those we got piled up around. Probably eventually get forks, or even make them. That might be cool. Use it for digging a pond maybe, who knows. But hey, y'all let me know down in the comments below what else I could use it for around here. I'm obviously not a skilled operator, and I don't know a ton about these machines, so let me know what you know. I'm always interested to learn more. So far, I'm actually very happy. When we went to look at it, the hydraulic lines underneath the seat here, I'm gonna pull the seat out and then start talking about it. So as you can see, all the hydraulic lines and everything under here are actually really dry, and some of them have a little bit of rust, which means that they've never actually had a, at least not a serious hydraulic leak. And if they're dry right now, that means they don't currently have one. There is a hydraulic leak somewhere that dripped onto the trailer overnight, so eventually I'll have to find that, but for right now, I'm gonna run it like that. It is a hand and foot control. So when you're sitting in the seat, your left hand controls the left wheels, right hand controls the right wheels, left foot controls the boom up and down, right foot controls the tilt of the bucket. And all of that I learned from a YouTube video. So far, I'm very happy with this machine. Now why don't y'all go ahead and sit back and check out what it can do. So this is a hand and foot control machine, and operations for this thing, at least for this one, doesn't have a seat bar, so it has the seat belt. You gotta have the seat belt on just to crank it. And then with the seat belt on, the hydraulics are unlocked, so you can move your hands left, right, move, and your feet forward and back, move the bucket around. You probably can't hear me anyways because the engine's running. But just watch me have fun. I still have the engine cover open. I'm gonna change, close that real quick. Alright, so now they've got out. My foot controls are locked, my hand controls still move, but I can't move my bucket and boom at all until I reattach the seatbelt. And for these New Hollands, unless you bypass the seatbelt check, you actually have to disconnect the seatbelt and reconnect it every time the weight gets removed and re-added to the seat. So if you try and buckle it and then just sit down on top of the seatbelt, that'll work the first time, but not the second. got a good bit kind of roughed up. I was actually able to get a few stumps out of the ground. Dumped some of the logs and stumps and stuff. When I was able to get them in the bucket, I brought them over here and dumped them out. I also dumped out some good dirt that I may end up having to use at some point, who knows. But this thing's pretty cool. This is a flat edge bucket, so it's not really meant for digging into the ground. It's meant for scooping stuff up. I am planning on getting a tooth bucket though, so I'll have something that'll rip the ground up a little bit better before we start our land clearing videos. We'll go from there. We're gonna give it a little bit of a wash, try and get all the grease and dirt and grime build up out from inside the footwells and pretty much anywhere else that we can find it. I know the quick release latches, I need to get some dirt and junk out from there and grease them up real good, because one of them was actually stuck, but both of them are stiff, very stiff. We're gonna rinse it off and grease up the lubrication joints. If you didn't know, the footwells actually have an empty hole that goes straight to the ground, so hopefully I can rinse this into the empty hole straight out. String, looks like this must have been used by a landscaper, because this is like the twine that they use for pine needles. Let's go ahead and hit straight for the quick attach pins. Hopefully with some grease and a little bit of working them back and forth, we'll get them back to where they're easy to do by hand instead of having to get a pole on it. Now on this guy, the bucket does have a little bit of droop when you let it sit, so we're going to end up having to reseal those hydraulic cylinders for the curl function. But that should be a good video and a good learning experience for me. So make sure y'all subscribe so you stick around and can see that when it happens. We're probably actually going to use it for land clearing first though, get a little bit of use out of it, and then we'll go through and we'll rebuild some of this stuff. Yep, that's some juicy stuff. Now we washed it up, I'm gonna let it dry off, and then we'll go through and we'll grease up all the Zerk fittings and check chain case levels for the drive wheels, hydraulic level, and we'll probably do an oil change. See the grease come out right there around that seal. Easier that moves now. You're kind of watching that pin right there move it up and down. Gonna grease it a little bit more. Grease sticking out there. Before we get going on this thing, let's go ahead and check all the fluids, make sure they're good. So the drive gears on both sides of the skid steer actually have these drive gears actually have oil in them to keep them lubricated, I guess. And this is where the dipstick is on each side. Yep, definitely has oil. I believe that uses 10W30, but I am not sure on that, so. Right, other side. It's got oil on that side. All right, and then my hydraulic oil has a dipstick right back here under the seat. And let's see, looks like I'm just above minimum, so it needs a little bit. Bring it up. Oh, bring it up full, but it's not below the minimum, so we're good to run it for right now, and I'll get some hydraulic oil and top it off later. I am going to use this a lot in the land clearing video that should be coming out soon, so make sure to subscribe so you get to see that when it comes out. Pretty excited for this purchase and what it's going to be able to do for me. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.